It's bodega time. Yeah, what's going on, party people? The place to be. I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn's the borough. What's good? What's popping? Happy Bodega Day to everyone. Of course, we gotta say what's up to the people, the party people in the chat. We got Bonma M. We got Revelator 007. We got Bodega Lady Michelle. We got my man JP Davis. You know what I mean? So on the check-in, definitely appreciate the love. As always, if you have not already, like, share, and subscribe. Please share the link to all your corresponding social media platforms. Tell a friend that's him again. And if you like what you see in this channel, please show your support by contributing a nice sizable chunk of your hard-earned money to my PayPal account. And if you'd like to be a monthly supporter, you could be a patron where you'll get an assortment of goodies to help you in your personal Bible study. So, that being said, I have some interesting people. You should know these guys. You've been here for the last year and a half. You should be familiar with these faces that's on your screen right now. And one of those faces belongs to Victor Von Doom himself, apologist in Detroit. What's going on?
What's going on, fam? Happy to be here. Happy to support. Looking forward to destroying some meme theology tonight.
Yes, true indeed. And of course, we got from the dirty South, MJ Jackson's in the building. What's going on, sir?
Oh, I can't call it. Just here to hang out on a Friday night with fellas and do a little bit of violence.
As always, it wouldn't be you if there wasn't at least a smidge of violence somewhere, right? So with that being said, let's, as always, unfortunately, we have to talk about this COVID that's been going on in our life. Yes, Ms. Turner, that is a sizable chunk. Thank you for your super chat. Definitely appreciate it. MJ, what's going on with the pandemic by your neck of the woods?
Well, I guess what they call a mandate by President Sleepy Joe, causing some people to to get the shots. At least, I mean, a lot of people are complaining about it. I don't think it's a mandate. You either get the shot or you go get tested. It's just a choice. But if the government requires that you do something, people lose their mind down here in the South for whatever reason. But people are getting more shots. But once again, I'm in the Bible Belt where we where we hate science and things like that. So I wear my mask. I pray for my friends and family, and I try to catch myself if I feel myself getting a little too relaxed, but for the most part, I try to do what I got to do to be here for my friends and family. So
absolutely. And going over to Detroit, what's going on with you over there, sir?
I stopped following COVID updates when it became politicized, but I do have some comments. So I feel it's tragic that frontline workers were like they were the people who were saving lives. They were the people who were risking their health to save those lives and to deal with this issue, this pandemic when it started. I feel like it's sad that a lot of medical entities are requiring it, seeing that it's politicized. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. I have no clue on how to. What I do know is it impacts people differently. I know people who've had it. You've had it. You know what I'm saying? I know people who've had it and have mild reactions to it, and I know people who had it, and I talked to them while they had it, and it almost sounded like they were dying, and they ended up in hospitals and they ended up on ventilators. So it's hard. It's hard to peg as to we're in the range of concern that we should have for the public. At the end of the day, when I hear my friends, people that I know personally who have the more severe more severe version of it, and hear them, it's scary as crap. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel bad that it's been politicized. I feel bad that it's being required so quickly, and that they're putting people's jobs at risk over it. Other than that, personally, I'm vaccinated. I made that choice. My wife made that choice for me, but I made the choice. I still made the choice.
Right,
and
if that makes you feel better, you can say
right. And I'm vigilant. And at the same time, it's like, I don't know how I would react to it if I catch it. Am I going to have a severe version? I just rather not catch it. So when I go to the grocery store, I'm more vigilant than I was prior to the pandemic. I am conscious about the distance between me and people. When I hear a person cough, sneeze, things like that, I'm conscious about the range of airspace that I'm going into where those particles are floating around in the air, because at the end of the day, I just rather not. But I felt that way about the flu and the cold before COVID. I was avoiding catching them. I just, they just didn't seem as contagious. And so I wasn't as concerned. So yeah. That's my 2 cents. So like to me, it's like I could talk about numbers and statistics and stuff like that, but I really feel like at this point, it's not necessarily helpful, or it's not necessarily telling of what the real story is at this point. So that's where I'm at. Whipped in to talk about it. I'm neither going to confirm nor deny that.
Nice. And shout out to Penny Matthew for the love. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Got my man Andre. Haven't seen you in a minute, sir. It's good to see you in the chat. So now let's talk about the Big Apple here. And in the Big Apple, we have about 85% of all New Yorkers age 18 or over has at least one dose of the vaccine, and I am one of the 85%. And this week I will be getting my second dose of the Pfizer, so keep me in your prayers, because in New York you can't really get any money. You can't get to the bag unless you get to the vax. So that's what it is. Also, the percent of positive people who have the virus is 2.47. We seem to hover around 3% to 250 for the last few weeks. But we've had 42 new deaths reported by healthcare facilities. So, yes, wear your mask, clean your hands, social distance, just keep doing it. And after the pandemic's over, keep doing it. Maybe not the mask part, but keep washing your hands. It's actually a really good habit to have. Flu season's coming, so, you definitely want to be vigilant when it comes to those things. So with that being said, today we will have a theme. Well, we always have little themes here and there, but this is a very specific theme. Today, the Bodega presents the debunking of meme scholarship. I want to say a special shout out to my man CMB. This is actually one of the first videos me and CMB did when we first started doing stuff online. And we actually did a similar lesson when we was over in Dayton, Ohio, like a few years ago. So shout out to CMB. So we're going to talk about meme scholarship, because if you're on social media for any certain amount of time, you have bumped into what is now known as a meme, right? So, yeah, Michelle, we did it at CMB's church. That's right. So before we get into it, like, what exactly is a meme? Well, a meme is an idea, behavior, or style that spreads from person to person within a culture. A meme acts as a unit for carrying cultural ideas, symbols, or practices that can be transmitted from one mind to another through writing, speech, gestures, rituals, or other imitable phenomena with a mimicked theme. Supporters of the concept regard memes as a cultural analogs to genes, in that they self-replicate, mutate, and respond to selective pressures. The word is I don't know how to say that word, coined by Richard Dawkins, right? One of the four horsemen of the new atheists, right? So that's what meme is. Meme is a bite-sized morsel of information, right? And memes by itself aren't inherently good or bad. It's just a piece of information. Now, the information can be bad or good. So, to my panel, like, what's your take on the whole phenomenon of the meme? And do you feel good about it, or are you against it?
I guess I'll go first. I don't feel good about memes because I feel like they get abused. One, I feel like just like YouTube videos, memes get abused where people refuse to pick up books, things like that, and read books uh, and engage literature and stuff. So memes are often brought up as source material to refute um, information that has been around for thousands of years. It's just weird that when you talk about how you believe in Jesus Christ, a person throw a meme at you of something that the church has dealt with probably in the 3rd century. Or they put up a picture of a whole bunch of white guys, uh, and Athanasius, who's also who would be white in the picture, with a picture of white Jesus, and thus saying that Jesus was invented at the Council of Nicaea, things like that. So, I mean, I think memes is just the uh, ignorance spreading within society. It's horrible. I think we gotta get back to the books.
Okay. What's your take on that, Chris?
I think it's like, I don't think meme is really the problem. I think culture's really the problem. I mean, the reality is, man, we really live in an unprecedented age of data, an unprecedented age of information. And as information continues to accumulate exponentially because of how much further out we can see with telescopes and in we can see with microscopes, I think that it's just inescapable that you're going to have some sort of a convenient way to quickly communicate, and it's logical. It's basically, when done correctly, a reductio ad absurdum argument. It's an idea shrink to its most basic idea, so that you can see whether or not it makes sense, or it's logical, right? Or sound. So yeah, it's not really memes that's the problem. It's the people who are using the memes. I think was it Doc Holliday in what's that movie with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer? Tombstone, where he says your ignorance betrays you, right? and that's really it. It's like, it's our ignorance betraying us. It's when we think the meme captures the nuance of the bigger, set of data. So that's really where I'm coming from. I was actually surprised because prior to the research that you did and pointed out that Richard Dawkins coined the term, I was like, man, look at Richard Dawkins being that broken clock and being right once.
Hey, you know what? It can happen. It can actually
happen.
It
can happen. Yes, sir.
It can happen.
So yeah, that's my comments on memes.
Cool. Shout out to Frugal Survivor for the super chat. Definitely appreciate the love. Yeah, Adrian says memes followed by do your research. Shake my head, but then you do the research and debunk the meme. That's pretty much what usually happens. So you're pretty much spot on with that. That big up to my man Patty C. What's going on, sir? So what do you do, right? What should we apply when we run into a meme in our prospective news feeds? Well, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21 says, but test everything, hold fast what is good, right? Just because somebody posts something on your timeline does not automatically mean that it's factual. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look at some memes and we're going to see, and we're going to test. We're going to put this to the test and see if they hold fast and if they are good or not. So with that being said, let's look at the first meme. It says the same man who wrote the Holy Bible wrote a book called Demonology. Interesting. Gentlemen, what's being inferred in this meme?
That the author of the King James version of the Bible has an ulterior motive to deceive you.
Right. So this is a very interesting meme because it's not so much, it doesn't give you the punchline. It does the setup and it allows you to come with the punchline. Because now you put two and two together for yourself. So it actually resonates more with you because you came to the conclusion as opposed to being told the conclusion. Right? So it's pretty crazy. And of course, you see here Samuel L. Jackson is having the shock of his life about that. But it says here the King James Version is considered one of the most accurate English translations in existence. A skilled committee of 54 translators worked for 7 years to carefully complete the King James translation project. Okay. The book asserts, right, and this is an actual copy of this book they were talking about, Demonology. The book asserts James' full belief in magic and witchcraft and aims to both prove the existence of such forces and to lay down what sort of trial and punishment these practices merit. Now, remember, the meme wanted you to think that he was for demons. But if you actually read the book is about him saying this is bad. We should be aware of it because it's bad. And if anybody's doing this, they should be punished. The complete opposite of what the meme is alluding to. And of course, Stephen A is having a good time with that. So what do you guys think?
He looked like somebody was talking about the Cowboys. That's what he looked like.
Shout out to Damon Richardson.
I mean, the meme would also suggest that just like it says, that the Bible was written by a white dude. And which we know is false because KJV, King Jimmy, it's just a translation.
Right. He didn't translate anything.
No, he didn't translate anything. But you dig a little deeper, they'll tell you that who was it? Shakespeare wrote a little bit more in it. But I mean, this is just in short, this is just trying to get some shock value, trying to throw something on the wall, see if it stick for some shock value.
Absolutely.
For some shock and awe. So
absolutely. So you do a little research, and unfortunately, a lot of these memes don't stand up to the test. Here's a very popular meme that we see. This is an alleged screenshot of an advertisement that was found in the papers during the transatlantic slave trade, and it says here to be sold on board the ship. Right, the cargo has fine Hebos, which is supposed to be a derivative of Hebrews. And you will find many people, not all, but many people who are Hebrew Israelites will use this as proof that, you see, the people who actually brought these Africans over knew that they were Hebrews. Have you guys ever seen this meme before?
I hadn't until you showed it to me. That was my first time seeing it.
And I'm sure the people in the chat, those of us who are into apologetics, we run into this meme a lot. Right, Michelle, that's right. Exactly. So how do we know if this is true or not? Here's a practical thing to do. When you run into a meme that you find questionable, copy and paste the meme or download the meme as an image and then run it through Google Images. Honestly, that's what you should do. Just run it through Google Images so you can find the original version, if there is an original version of the meme. In this case, there is. This is the original version. Right? To be sold on board the ship on the 6th of May next, a choice cargo of about 150 fine, healthy Negroes not Hebrews, Negroes. In fact, the advertisement is from Henry Lawrence, who had earned great wealth as a partner in the largest slave trading house in North America, Austin and Lawrence. In the 1750s alone, this Charleston firm oversaw the sale of more than 8,000 enslaved Africans. This is the original ad in the paper. So all you gotta do, if you're like, okay, this strikes me as a little odd, download the image, run it through Google Images, and chances are you'll find the original information that the meme was trying to convey. What are your thoughts on this, guys?
They look like they ran that fake one through the printer a bunch of times to decrease the quality.
Yes, so you couldn't really read it. Right.
Couldn't really read it. No Hebos.
What do you think, MJ?
You know, run these images through the machine. You know, to question everything on the meme. You know,
test everything.
You got to test everything.
Test everything.
Yes.
You see these sleight of hands real quick.
In my Marvin Winans voice, not a question is when you my question is this: like when you realize that was fake, does that stick a rock in your shoe? Like, does that really make you question the narrative that you've bought into, or like, are you just dismissive? Like, is it really not even about is it really even not even about the evidence at all? The narrative resonates with you, and it's about the narrative. Because something like that for me, like if I was a person that had been introduced to this notion of Black people being Hebrews through stuff like that, it would really bother me to see something like that being shown as false.
Right. Well, I mean, but if you are desperately in love with confirmation bias, then it doesn't really matter, you know, because I've shown this stuff to people in different Facebook groups, and they would either don't answer or block me, or, you know, so.
Yeah, that's sad. That's real sad.
But here's one, and we've seen variations of this. I just picked this particular one, that somehow Israel is really an acronym for Isis, Ra, and El. Right? I don't know if you guys ever seen any kind of memes like this. How about the people in the chat? Have you ever seen a variation of this meme that Israel's really, you know, Isis, Ra, and El?
I've seen this one before. Me shaking my head no was at how illogical it is. That's why I'm shaking my head no.
Right, and the
Not
reason
that
why
I've seen this one before.
And Will Smith is also like, say what? Right? So let's look at it. So in the first syllable in Israel, is or yeast must come from Isis. Why? Because they sound the same. Yeah, the sound the same in English. The Egyptians didn't write or speak in English. Isis was not the way the Egyptians pronounced the name of this goddess. The pronunciation comes from Greek and Coptic languages that come into biblical world centuries after Hebrew. The Egyptian pronunciation of the name of this goddess was something like Waset or Osset. No resemblance to is or yees. Here's how Isis is spelled in hieroglyphics. And Will Smith is presenting this here for us. So right off the bat, I don't even have to go into the other syllables. Isis only works if we go by the English.
So you know, when you said English, I thought you was gonna go off into that Samuel L. Jackson rant from Pulp Fiction. English, do you speak? All right, that's it. Like, and this is not to the defense of people who use this bad logic. I just want to say that unfortunately, to our disgrace, there are many Christians who use this same bad logic.
Yeah,
today as well.
That's true.
I was talking to a guy the other day, and this guy was convinced that the vaccine was the mark of the beast. And to me, you know, he was using arguments like this argument here to kind of, you know, make this appeal that this is the case. And I'm like, bruh, like that's a stretch. Like, listen, believe whatever you want to believe, but that's a stretch. It's hard. That's a hard sell. So yeah, you know, not to defend them, shameful, just as shamefully as when Christians use poor logic like this, narcissistically thinking that our modern language in our modern context imagery, glyphs and things like that, or logic, is the framing for these ideas, which are ancient in different languages of different cultures. It's sad,
right. And again, something to keep in mind when they do these parallelomania connections with these two words that sound the same. But if it only works in English, then it's not true, because if we're talking about ancient themes and concepts, you have to go back to those ancient languages, right? So who cares if it sounds the same in English? Is there the same connection in the Hebrew or the Aramaic or the Middle Netter, right? So that's something always to keep in mind. MJ?
This is the phonic fallacy. What we would call the phonic fallacy. If it sound the same, if I can kind of jigsaw puzzle it in English, once again, I'm gonna come across that Christian who went to church because grandma and mama made them go, and maybe I can shake them.
Right.
Maybe I can shake their world up a little bit. But once again, this is why we question everything, and this is why we examine the best each side of the argument has to offer.
There it is. There it is. Next one up. Before Islam and Christian slavery, so-called Negroes were the children of Israel. So when I first saw this, I'm like, yeah, this looks a little more like Egypt than Israel. So I downloaded the picture, ran it through Google Images, and what did I find? It's from a magazine, National Geographic. And guess who's on the cover? The same dude we saw in the other painting. And the title is The Black Pharaohs, Conquerors of Egypt. Right? And there goes Carmelo giving you the 3-shot right between your eyes right there. This is the article in the magazine, right? It's The Black Pharaohs. And here's the actual picture that the meme used. Okay? So if you're wondering which pharaoh this is, it's a depiction of King Taharqa, the Nasut Bidi of Kemet at that time. It has nothing to do with Israel at all. But someone slapped Deuteronomy on it and said, these are the children of Israel, and people buy it. They buy it. So, again, a Google image search destroys this. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
Now the question is,
this is just one of those things where you destroy it, and then you tell the person who's believing this mess, look, you better than this. You're smarter than this. You can if you even thinking about walking away from the faith, gotta have some stuff better than this. This is not worth you. This is not worth you chancing something so precious over a poorly put together, poorly researched meme.
Yeah, and I again, like, I have empathy because I recognize that a lot of this is a longing for identity. It's a longing for this restoration of dignity that is found in identity. And so, or I would even go a little further and say in public identity, to be able to look at a person and to think of that person as a member of a clan of dignity and honor, versus to look at a person and think of them as, some sort of disgrace. So I got empathy for him, but at the end of the day, truth matters, man. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, we have to care as much about being right as we do about being restored. And I hope people who are buying into these false ideas through this iconography, through these images, can take a moment, take a breath, and just think. I agree with you. Our dignity, we are dignified people, and intrinsically dignified people. But this isn't the way of going about establishing it. So,
nice. So continue on. We've seen variations of this meme as well, right? Osset, Osar, and Heru. The original Trinity. The original Trinity. And Biggie's like, what? And of course, you know, my issue with this is you don't have to agree with Christianity. But if you're going to disagree with Christianity, understand what Christianity is that you're in disagreement with, right? Because I don't know any Christian of any denomination who will tell you that the Trinity is three separate gods. Okay, it's not a triad, right? It's a Trinity, all right? The doctrine of the Trinity means that there is one God who eternally exists as three distinct persons, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Stated differently, God is one in essence and three in person. These definitions express three crucial truths. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are distinct persons. Each person is fully God. There is only one God. That is what the Trinity is. You don't like it? Fine. But don't misrepresent what you don't like. It is not a triad. It is a Trinity. There's a difference. Right? So I'm sure you guys run into all the time.
Yeah, man. And to be frank, I thought that looked way more like Destiny's Child than like the Trinity. The Trinity for real. I was about ready to sing some Bugaboo or something, right?
Yeah. MJ.
It's not a triad. It's not tritheism. You know, represented for what it really is. I mean, God is not three contingent beings who bicker and fight and do nasty stuff to each other, harlot filth, and
have babies together,
have babies together, have sex in the womb, according to Plutarch, stuff like that.
Sex with dead gods.
Yeah,
about that. So
wait a minute. Like, isn't like Osiris and Iris, isn't Horus like their kid or something like
yes.
that? Like,
yes,
for real.
He had to revivify Osiris.
Right. That's crazy, man.
Which is a brother / husband, by the way.
Exactly.
So
once again, you're smarter than this. You're better than this user of the meme.
Oh, user of meme. Come out of her, my people. Man, here's one I think a lot of us have seen. Hitler's Confessions, right? There's an alleged quote from Hitler. No, the soldier replied, the Americans have the jewels of God. The Americans stolen God's precious jewels. What do you mean, his precious jewels? The soldier asked. Hitler said, the American has stolen the jewels of God, his jewelry, the Negroes. They are the true Hebrews. Have you guys ever seen this quote?
Yeah.
How about the people in the chat? Have you guys ever ran into this? That Hitler's confessing that the true Drew. Now here, just so as an aside, no one here disagrees that there are black and brown descendants of ancient Israel, right? We're not saying that that's not the case, right? What we're questioning is whether or not Hitler made this actual quote or not, all right? Just so you can be clear, we're not saying that throughout the diaspora there aren't black and brown people that have some Semitic lineage. We're not saying that that's not the case. What we're asking is this quote true? Right? Michelle's like, this one grinds my gears. Yeah, exactly. So, doing a little research, something as simple as Snoops. We've seen this. Snoops is a debunking website, right? And it says here, needless to say, this passage does not appear in Harrison's book, which is from Time Life Books. We could not find this passage in either the digital copy available via Google Books, nor the hard copy we examined. Page 132 of Harrison's book, The Nazis, features a photograph of Hitler, Joseph Goebbels, and other watching a propaganda film, a description of what this film depicted, as well as a few stills from the production. Yeah, and actually, I have a copy of this book on PDF. So when people put that meme up, I say, okay, I give them the PDF. I'm like, here's the book. Here's the magazine, the book. You find me that quote for me. And of course, that usually ends the conversation. And MJ is just having a heart attack over here in the corner. So, Michael Jordan, not MJ Jackson. So, what do you guys think?
The Jews, I mean, not the Jews, but the Nazis had plenty to say about America, because on some topics, like the topic of racism, Germany admired America. While it was trying to get its eugenics oriented enterprise off the ground, and to justify what they were doing to the Germans, they were often looking and commenting in how great America was at doing it with Black people. So for one, there's no this whole distinction about Black people being the Jews, or that implying that Black people, or inferring that Black people were the Jews. That's certainly not within the historical narrative, because at the same time that the Nazis were doing this, there was anti-Semitism here in America. America wasn't friendly toward Jews. They didn't like Jews either. They just cared less about Blacks and had much more of an emphasis on Blacks. There was a world kind of the world kind of had this negative view of Jews back at that period of time, and both Nazi Germany and America both were anti-Semitic. So I'm not it doesn't make sense. It's not logically make sense historically speaking, because historically speaking, and that has no bearing on whether or not any of these other narratives, there being Black Jews, anything like that. Just simply pointing out the prevailing view wasn't that Black people were Jews, because the Nazis were doing what they were doing to the people that were commonly called Jews back at that time, and there was a distinction made between those two people, and there was admiration of America for the way that America was doing what Germany aspired to do. So, yeah.
MJ.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with much of what my brother said. The Germans admired what was going on here in the U.S. of A. They studied Jim Crow. They studied the Black Code. They studied the laws on the books. And so, even today when I hear, oh, that's the Marxist and school of cultural Marxism, that's just anti-Semitism rearing its head. You had a bunch of German Jewish scholars come over here fleeing Hitler. We should ask the question why they came over here to begin with. Fleeing Hitler to set up shop, and then they're criticized not because of their ideas, but mostly for anti-Semitism rearing its head. So I digress. That had nothing to do with what you asked me, but once again,
it connects because again, it goes to Hitler's view of other human beings, right? Yeah. And Michelle kind of cobbles that together with a man who said the superior race had blonde hair and blue eyes thinks Blacks are God's jewels. Interesting, right? The Ubermensch, right? So the Ubermensch. All right, so here we go. We've seen various memes with the same statement, right? The original name of the Holy Bible is Helios, biblios. Oh. Come on, son. The people in the chat, have you ever ran into a variation of this meme? That the word Holy Bible actually means Helios, biblios, right? This is really simple to debunk, because all you're going to do is look for the actual Greek words for Helios and biblios, for Holy Bible. Right? That's all you got to do. And that's all I did, because it says here in Strong's Concordance, Hagios, sacred, holy. It's an adjective, transliteration, right? Hagios, set apart, holy, right? It's not son. It's not son. It actually does mean holy, right? And the word Bible from the Koine Greek, biblia, the books, is a collection of sacred texts or holy scripture that Jews and Christians consider to be a product of divine inspiration and a record of the relationship between God and humans. All right? So Holy Bible just means book. That's all it means. It's sacred book, not Helios, biblios. And with that, I'm going to introduce my good friend, partner, Context 360 is in the building, CMB the ambassador. What's going on, sir?
What's good people? Sorry I'm late, man. I had another stop to make, but I'm back in the bodega. What's good, y'all?
What's good, man? We're just going through one. I'm going through memory lane, bro. We're doing one of our very first, teachings that we did together over in your church.
That's our first hate mail. Yeah.
Yeah, right. When we first chose violence together, right? Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
So why do you think people do this with the why do people just buy into the Helios biblios thing? Why is that the case?
Well, this is one of Anthony Browder's favorites. It's in several of his books. It's in a, I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna start no mess on your channel, but it's in several of his books on Kemet and all that stuff. Really, it's black supremacy trying to really rear its head. And what I mean by that is, yes, we do have a need for identity. We absolutely do, but we can't. Our response to the whitewashing of Christianity cannot be the blackwashing of everything. It cannot be. So what this is certain Afrocentric scholars, and I mean that in the popular sense. I think you got some decent Afrocentric scholars in the university, but in the popular sense, you have certain Afrocentric scholars recognizing that Christianity has staying power. So we gotta take credit for that. Just like we got to take credit for the Trinity, just like we got to take credit for for the Bible. We gotta take credit. So we say that it's a son book, and only the children of the son, that's us, can interpret it right. And you have to interpret
like Ray Hagen's out here.
Yeah. and we have to interpret it allegorically. It's allegory. Son book.
Mind blown. Wow, that was deep.
It's deep. This is your circle.
Open your third eye. Open your third eye, son. Oh man.
Oh, sorry.
So good. CMB, your thoughts on the Helios biblios phenomenon?
Oh man, that's a special kind of nonsense right there, and a special kind of intellectual laziness, bro. Right? Sun, Helios sounds like holy, kind of.
Sun. You see the connection? You see the connection?
Right,
third eye,
right.
son. Third eye.
Call my dude son because he shine like one, right? No, we can't say that. No, stop the nonsense. At least try. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's regurgitated stuff, man. It's old, been around the block a million times, and it still doesn't hold water. I mean, like how many times can we go over this, and it just doesn't hold water, and we're still gonna hold to it, and keep it like fresh in our minds, and share it even when it's been debunked a million times. You know what I mean? It's never-ending zombie post, bro. Like just.
And to MJ's point about the blackwashing of history.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the truth about Adolf Hitler? Have you ever wondered why Hitler's considered one of the worst men in history? Why do whites from the USA consider him to be an evil racist, even though they were the ones who sent centuries enslaving African kings and queens? Why they consider him to be an imperialist, even though it was Great Britain who had brutally subjugated a quarter of the world and caused countless genocides just to expand their empire? Why did Hitler, the supposed white supremacist, shake Jesse Owens' hand at the 1936 Olympics, while FDR didn't even acknowledge his existence? Why was Hitler vilified for all these years? There might be a reason why Hitler has been vilified by the same white supremacist government that has exploited blacks for centuries. Perhaps there is something about Hitler that they don't want us to know. Something so important that it would completely destroy the entire narrative if the people found out about it. Below is an original picture of Adolf Hitler from 1935, the only original one still in existence. Notice anything strange? And Stephen A is looking for that photo, and this is a picture of Adolf Hitler in Munich, 1935. Basically saying that, Hitler was a black man. But once again, you see this, right? You find it odd. You download the photo, you run it through Google Images, and you find the original photo. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the original photo.
Is that Billy D?
Huh?
Is that Billy D?
No, it's not. I don't know if it's Billy D, but he's
that's
eating.
Definitely not Billy D.
He's eating a Twinkie cupcake, and he has ripped pants, and it's clearly a modern day picture.
I heard that Black Hitler was going to be in Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, like everybody else, right?
Like everybody else.
Stephen A is like, please tell me more about your shenanigans.
Oh man.
So they threw a filter on it to make it look older. And it's like, look, Hitler's black. I'm like, really, fam?
It's the only picture of Hitler. All of history, every country got it wrong. The real Hitler.
I got it right.
I
put it in.
I didn't want you to know. Apologies, Detroit. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
Don't want you to know.
Gotta get woke.
Right.
Right. All right,
Now
so here's another one. And Michelle Turner says, I too am in Spider-Man No Way Home. Everybody that mama is in this movie, I'm telling you.
Right.
Everybody. So we're gonna do another one. And this one, actually, we're gonna break this down. We're gonna get a little nerdy with it. And this meme is the Ashanti tribe. Ashanti means people of Ashan, which Ashan was the son of Judah, and they quote a verse. So this is a proof text, because again, there's this narrative that, these ancient Hebrews migrated to Africa, and proof of that is the Ashanti tribe, right? Ashanti means Ashan, right? And Fabulous is like, okay, let me take off my specs because I don't know.
He was like, you should put Nelly up there. Like, I know Ashanti. That's not Ashanti.
No, Val, not Ashanti the singer, the tribe. Everybody got jokes. So let's talk to, this is from Victor Solomare Gadasi Kwame Nkrumah, University of Science and Technology, Department of Religious Studies, Faculty of Social Science from Ghana. And he said, historians and anthropologists continue to debate the issue that have offered various answers. This paper addresses three main attempts made to arrive at the Twi etymology for Ashanti. There are namely Ashanti Fool, clay producing group, Asa Niti Fau, because of war group, and the Ashanti Ba, a child of Ashanti. So there is a controversy within the linguistics in Ghana of how to properly define Ashanti. And these are the three most prevailing theories. Notice son of Ashan is not one of them. It could be because of war, cave producing, or child of Ashanti. But not Ashan. Right? And this is coming from an actual professor from the place, from the land itself. Okay? And actually, before we even do that, so again, right, it's these root word fallacies, right? Mm-hmm. It's these etymological fallacies. Why do we fall prey to these so much?
I'll take a stab at it. I mean, it sounds good, right? But if you can almost sound intelligent, you know what I'm saying? But you have to be careful because it's like taking this word Ashanti and trying to say it's the son of Asan in the scriptures. It's like saying that the word butterfly has anything to do with dairy products. You know what I mean? Like it don't always work that way because it's butter and fly, and that makes butterfly. See, because it don't always work like that. So you have to be careful that sometimes that some things are just that. you know, or like we hear the argument about, is it nice? The word nice has a previous connotation of being idiot or stupid or foolish or something like that in the past. And some people say, don't call me nice, because, you know, that just means whatever the case is. And so you kind of miss the whole concept of word usage naturally and so forth, right? But yeah, just something sounding like one word in one language and sounding like another word in another language does not necessarily mean that they're related. So we have to be extremely careful of that, folks.
Well said. Well said. Chris or MJ?
Things like this usually leave me speechless, because once again, you know, I can't sing as good as my buddy apologist in Detroit. But what, you know, the question is, I guess, you know. But I agree. I agree with my brother CMB. I mean, this is you know, we have to, as Christian apologists, we have to do a good job of affirming Christian identity and point out that the Bible affirms who we are as Black people. I know some folks who have a problem with that, like my buddy Garfield, but you know, we have to do it. Otherwise, we'll get these jigsaw puzzle meme games trying to insert Black folk where they're not necessarily, where they're not. So,
right. Chris?
Oh, my heart can't take no more. I can't keep coming back.
But you know what keeps coming back? Memes like this one. Serapis. There's never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form of any race, creed, or color by the name of Jesus, aka Serapis. Right? I just recently did a whole video about this one particular meme, that, you know, that we know that Jesus was really Serapis, and they quote a letter from the emperor, you know, and asking about what was going on in ancient Egypt, and how in Egypt the Christians were really magicians, and, you know, this Jesus is really Serapis and all that. So the funny thing about that particular letter, in fact, this is the quote itself, right? Egypt, which you commended to me, my dearest Savinius, I have found to be wholly fickle, inconsistent, and continually wafted about by every breath of fame. The worshippers of Serapis are called Christians, and those who are devoted to God Serapis, I find, call themselves bishops of Christ. And this letter is found in this book called the Historical Augusta, right? So this is a proof text. Like, see, these guys, the Christians, really worship Serapis because Serapis is really Jesus, right? The problem with that is, in Glanville W. Bowersock, in preceding volume of the Genevan Conference and of the Historia Augusta, they had a whole conference about this book, guys, right? A whole conference. Gives a scholastic survey of the dating of the text. He writes, the presence of fiction in the Historical Augusta is by now an established fact. The mischievous author of this book pretended, as we all know, to be writing historical biographies. But this pretense, though compelling the inclusion of genuine historical material, imposed no perceivable limits on his wit and invention. It was a forgery. And in fact, if you watch my video on Serapis, I go into great lengths about how we come to know how it's forged. There's various reasons why we believe that this book was an utter forgery. In fact, it was actually known as a parody. It was an ancient version of Mad Magazine. That's what this book actually was. So there was no letter from the emperor. It's a forgery. It's fake. Today, I just saw a thread with someone try to prove this. So it's zombie posts. They just keep living. Keep living. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
Even if this was genuine, right? It didn't say that Serapis was Jesus. It said that Christians worship Serapis and Jesus. So at the most, you have pagans claiming to be Christians. Even if this document was true, I mean, it's not saying what they said is, it's saying. They're making a logical leap. But once again, it's still a forgery. I agree. But it's still bad logic in the way that they're trying to employ it.
Right.
Can you like, I have an idea. Like, I know how ancient manuscripts are dated. Like, I study textual criticism, so I have it. I'm curious, like, what was the telltale, like, that you found out?
Well, I mean, there's various things. One, the guy actually made up emperors that never existed. That's
Yes.
one. Two, it claims to have 40 biographers, but they ran a computer scan, and it was clearly written by one person.
One person.
It was just so many things that was just completely, a total farce.
So was the like what was the what was it on? Was it a codex? Was it a papyrus?
It's a book. It was an actual book.
So it's like a whole book.
Yes.
Okay.
That he traded for kicks and giggles.
Okay, but like, what was the dating of the book?
Oh, and that's another reason why it was considered a forge, because the dating does not coincide with what that letter says it actually was traded in. So that's another discrepancy. The dating is also off as well.
Yeah,
there's a whole list. Like I said, I have a whole video about Serapis on my channel. You can watch the whole video. I break it all down. I cite my sources. It's a total farce. It's a forgery. It's fake. So it never happened. That conversation, that quote, never happened.
Never happened.
Never happened. So here's one. And I think you, Chris, and MJ are really going to dig into this one. All right. And we see a lot of One West Hebrews, not all, but they'll use this, right? Talking about Ham. And this is from the Compact Bible Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Right? So based on that quote, what is this Bible dictionary conveying here?
That there's more than one black group of black people.
Right.
One these other people groups, and then the other, not the Negroes, meaning the Jews. Right.
It's not the Negroes, right? Ham is not Negro. Now, what's a Negro? Well, Negro, right? Definition of Negro is sometimes offensive. It's a member of race of humankind native to Africa. So this Bible dictionary is saying that Ham is not native to Africa somehow. Okay. And from the 18th century to the late 1960s, Negro, later capitalized, was considered to be proper English language term for people of black African origin. Right? So Ham, the people of Ham are not considered black. Right? The Egyptians and the people, these are not black people, according to this particular Bible dictionary. All right. And again, it comes from the Compact Bible Dictionary from Zondervan. All right. Now, why do they say that? Well, and here's a quote again. Right. It's he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Meaning that these people are not black people.
Right.
Right. Where would they get this from? Well, it's a little thing called the Hamitic hypothesis. What is that? Well, the Hamitic hypothesis is well known to students of Africa. It states that everything of value ever found in Africa was brought there by the Hamites, allegedly a branch of the Caucasian race. Schligman formulates as it follows: apart from relatively late Semitic influence, the civilizations of Africa are the civilizations of the Hamites. Its history, the record of these peoples, and of their interaction with the two other African stocks, the Negro and the Bushman, whether this influence was exerted by highly civilized Egyptians or by such wider pastoralists as are represented at the present day by the Beja and Somali. The incoming Hamites were pastoral Europeans, arriving wave after wave, better armed as well as quicker witted than the dark agricultural Negroes. So this hypothesis says when you see Hamites in Africa, they're actually ancient white people.
What in the whitewashing of Christianity is this?
And a lot of this comes from this book called The Lost White Tribe by Robert F. Robinson. They explain this. In 1876, in the mountainous region of the West Lake Victoria, what is today Rwenzori Mountains National Park of Uganda, the famed explorer Henry Morton Stanley encountered Africans, which what he was convinced were light complexions and European features. Stanley's discovery of this African, quote, white tribe haunted him and seemed to substantiate the so-called Hamitic hypothesis, the theory that descendants of Ham, the son of Noah, had populated Africa and other remote places, proving that the source and spread of human races around the world could be traced and explained by a biblical story. In The Lost White Tribe of Africa, Michael Robinson traces the rise and fall of the Hamitic hypothesis. In addition to recounting Stanley's quote-unquote discovery, Robinson shows how it influenced others, including that of the Ainu in Japan and the Valhamor Stephanson's tribe of quote-unquote blonde Eskimos in the Arctic, or the 9,000-year-old skeletons found in Washington State that were deemed Caucasian features. As Robinson shows, race theory stemming originally from the Bible not only guided exploration, but archaeology, including Charles March's discovery of the Grand Zimbabwe site in 1872, and literature such as H. Rider Haggard's King Solomon's Mines, whose publication launched an entire literary subgenre dedicated to white tribes in remote places. The Hamitic hypothesis would shape theories of Carl Jung and guide psychological and anthropological notions of the primitive. So whenever they came into ancient Africa and they saw these amazing structures and all these beautiful, agriculture and architecture, it couldn't be Negroes that did this. Right. So they remixed it and said it was white Africans that did it. And this hypothesis seeps into a Bible dictionary. Right? To continue here, the hypothesis also formed the foundation for the European colonial system, which was premised on the assumptions about racial hierarchy, at whose top were the white races, the purest and oldest of them all. It was a small step from the hypothesis to theories of Aryan superiority, which served as the basis of the race laws in Nazi Germany and had horrific and catastrophic consequences. Through racial thinking changed profoundly after World War II, well, one could debate that, a version of Hamitic validation of the, quote, whiter tribes laid the groundwork for conflict within Africa itself after decolonization, including the Rwandan genocide. Mm-hmm. So this is found, makes its way into an actual Bible dictionary. So
let me jump in first, Colin.
Yeah, go for it.
You know what? Seriously, like this book came out this year, Whitewashing of Christianity, subtitled "A Hidden Past, a Hurtful Present, a Hopeful Future," by Pastor Jerome Gay. And a lot of people look at the title of this book and they think, well, that just sounds racist. Whitewashing. What does he mean by that? This is a classic example of whitewashing. How is it a Bible dictionary in 1999 that's still spouting racist ideologies that have been debunked? That makes no sense to me. 1999, that's crazy. Is it even still in print? Are they still printing that?
The one Western, yeah, it's still in print. It's still being sold. The Hebrews love this. Look at that. Bam. There you go.
That is crazy.
There you go.
That is crazy that a dictionary would still be in circulation and in print that says such patently false that disseminates such patently false information. That is just incomprehensible to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the if I can jump in, I think one of the scariest things about this, like it's a compact dictionary, right? So by no means is it meant to be an exhaustive understanding, of what it's talking about. But this particular dictionary, it gets used get the compact dictionary, right? The one that's truncated, the one that's not really, doesn't expound on much, right? Get that one to find out who you quote unquote are, which is nonsense. And and what I know you guys have read that about Ham. Did you guys ever look at what Shem is
No.
in this?
No.
Okay, I have yet to hear someone of who how can I say this, who buys into that kind of ideology and mindset of not the Negroes, therefore we're Semites or Shemites or what have you. I'd like to read the entry on Shem, if I may. So Shem, it says Shem, the name means fame, second son of Noah, the progenitor of the Semitic race, was born 98 years before the flood, Genesis 11, verse 10, and lived 600 years, outliving the descendants for 9 generations, excepting Eber and Abraham. No mention of you, buddy. Okay. No mention of who you are or where you think you come from, right? And again, you could be, I'm not saying people are not Israelites or whatever, okay, knock yourself out, but this will not prove that. Okay, what you're doing is making a terrible argument from silence. You need to stop the nonsense, right? And so like that's part of the thing is we have to at least try and be intellectually honest, about certain things. But again, when you have people that are going out of their way to find health, not health, but like self importance, self worth, culture, and all this kind of stuff in a way that has them disenfranchised, and accepting curses from a covenant that doesn't even cover who you are on this side of the cross, it's a problem, man. And my heart really goes out to people that buy into that kind of thing. When the scripture couldn't be more clear that through Abraham's seed, who we know as Christ, according to Galatians 3, that all the nations of the world will be blessed. And even still, even though that's clear as day in the scripture, you want to claim that you're cursed. My heart goes out to people like that. It's not about winning arguments. Right. You guys have to understand that this is kind of where our hearts are about this kind of thing here, right? Yes, I know violence, whatever people want to call it violence, but at the end of the day, it's heart and it's love, because I don't want people to throw away Christ and throw away the message of Christ because of some bad behavior by people who call themselves Christians. Let's not do that. Right? Let's put all the nonsense aside. Let's get to the heart of the matter and know that you matter, know that you're made in the image of God, and that He has a special place for you in your heart, whatever your ethnicity is, right? Mm-hmm. And that you're more than your ethnicity, that you're more than that, and should you choose to, or if you are bloodline Israel or not, you have a place in the kingdom of God. And so that's kind of what we want to do. Israel's Messiah has come, and we're here to tell a story about it. That's what we're here for. So,
I mean, the irony, right, is many of these Hebrews, not all, but many, will use this as a proof text, right, to try to bang on the white man's the devil. But yet you're using a dictionary entry that presupposes white supremacy.
Exactly.
Like and things and you bring that up to them, and you see the kind of dissonance, because they've been taught that you need to use this special dictionary because this fits our narrative, and it actually does not. It actually goes against your narrative.
Yeah. Right. And you have to buy into, like you said, you have to buy into it in order to walk in that, not in that, I'll call it nonsense. I'll get mad now, but it is nonsensical. And it's one of the things that I hope and pray that people can start to learn and understand where this is. Go back and do the digging, do the research. Don't just listen to what people are telling you. Look at it. You have this on your shelf, right? If you have it on your shelf, look at the entry of Shem and see if you see yourself in there. Right? Look at it. Right? This is what I'm telling you. And that's one of those things that oh man, it just hurts my heart, that people would rather buy into that, than throw themselves on the mercy of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man. And that's kind of where it is. I think that people who are responsible for perpetuating this Hamitic hypothesis, God better have mercy on you, because if you don't, you and I don't know where you're gonna end up. It's not gonna be nothing nice. I have questions about that. I have questions about people who still would, just like apologists in Detroit is talking about, that would still push this narrative, as truth, as if it matters. The slides that you brought up were talking about a lot of the pseudoscience that came from this,
right.
Racial based quote unquote science, phrenology. Oh, the shape of your head. Oh, that means you don't have a good intellect. The shape of your body, the shape of your backside, your nose, all this kind of stuff. It is stupid. It's nonsense. It is not biblical, and you have to buy into this in order to believe the stuff that's in here. On that part anyway. So, do actual research. Go ahead and dig, and you will find that this is not for you.
Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. Yeah. So to continue, actually, I found this one recently. Right. Hotep equals peace. Right. The two fingers together. It's the real peace sign. Wide awake, Hotep. Bet you didn't know that. Do your own research. Right. So this stone thing, this symbol that you find in ancient Kemet is supposed to be the precursor to the peace sign, right? Again, take the photo, ran it through Google Images, right? What did I find? Well, the two-finger amulet. This amulet depicts two stylized human fingers that are about life-size. Two-finger amulets were used exclusively for the dead and were often found placed on the embalming incision, which was made during the mummification process. These amulets were meant magically to heal the wound. You can find this on view in the Met and Fifth Avenue in Gallery in Manhattan. It's not the peace sign. It's a magic amulet to cure the wound after someone has been embalmed and mummified. I mean, but here what we see is we're smuggling in our modern day perspective, symbolism, and idioms into the ancient world. Because yes, today when you see two fingers like that, it usually means peace, peace out, or whatever, right? That's what it means today. Why do you just think that it meant that back then? It's very arrogant of us, to smuggle in our modern day perspective into these ancient people's lives. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I mean, this is an anachronism. It's what we would call anachronism, where we take our cultural norms and mores and symbolisms and project them back on the past in order to make an argument. We this is not the only place where we do it, but we also use even our standards for literature, and we project it back on the biblical text. So I just think that it's something that we have to make people aware of, and context matters. Context matters.
Always, 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 always. And it's just bad. It's just bad, Could you hear people in the conscious community say, "Oh, we're historians"? Well, where's your methodology? Because if you're a historian, you would know that the way people saw the world in the Bronze or Iron Age is not exactly the same way that we do today. Any historian worth his degree will readily tell you that. You learned that in the first semester. But again, right, when it comes to, in fact, me and Rome and some other brothers in the chat, we were talking about this earlier. These same people who are so academically inclined, right, who have always talk about, research methodology, suspend all of that when it comes to the Bible, right? Understanding context clues, pretense, present tense of verbs, adjectives, nouns. They completely throw all that away when it comes to the biblical text. find it very, very, very interesting. All right. All right. So now, watch this. This is going to be very interesting. What I'm going to show you right now. Right. Here's a meme. You can't see it completely, but let me read it for you. Right. Of course, it's depicting the Tower of Babel. Now, it did not look like that in ancient times. It was a ziggurat. It wasn't some Tower of Pisa that you find in Europe. It looked nothing like that. But look at the different denominations, right? Protestant, Church of God in Christ, Episcopalian, Lutheran, Evangelical, right? Methodist. And it says, come out of the Jesuit-led 501c3 churches. They are leading you back to Rome. Stop listening to men and read your Bible. Listen to our Father who speaks to us personally through his word, right? So these are evil, Jesuit-led 501c3 churches, right? Okay. So there's this website that I recommend to everyone called Charity Navigator, right? And you can go and in their search engine, you can put in different organizations to see what status they have. If they have a 501c3 status. So I decided to, type in ISUPK, which is of course known as the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And lo and behold, right? Look at what they are labeled in this thing here. What are they called here? They're labeled as Christian. Right? Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is a 501c3 organization with an IRS ruling year of 2008, and donations are tax deductible. So according to this meme, ISUPK is led by the Jesuits. And they're Christian. Dun, dun, dun. Right? I mean, if the meme is what the meme's saying is true, how about IUIC? Now they're interesting because look what quote unquote denomination they are. They're Islamic, boys and girls. See that? They're Islamic when it comes to their tax situation. And they're also 501c3.
Look like somebody was aware of the hypocrisy and made adjustments. That's what it looked like.
So Nathaniel and his crew are led by the Jesuits. Now it's funny, right? Because these are the guys that tell us we're agents. That the UA is run by Jesuits. That Vocab Malone is our Jesuit overlord. But look at this.
It's some Muslims.
These are Muslims. These are purple and gold Muslims.
I expect a bean pie next time I show up.
Break out them bean pies, fellas.
That's right.
Them yummy, delicious bean pies.
Can you imagine them out there with an apocrypha and a final call? Oh man, they got the robes and the bow ties on.
Oh man, Andu Hallah, right?
Oh man,
arm, leg, arm, head, baby. Shalom.
That's right.
But these are the same people. If you ask them about the Muslims, oh, they're horrible, they're evil, and this and that, blah blah blah. I'm like, but on paper,
right?
Legally, IUIC is an Islamic group. Legally, the government when they look at IUIC, they see Muslim congregation. That's what they see. They don't see Hebrews. They see Muslims. I'm saying, and this is not some secret information. I found the website, put their name. There's the information for all to see. For all to see. So there you go, Michelle. Allahu Yahawashai. There you go. Allahu Yahawashai. So
13th warrior up in this piece.
You know what I mean? So it's like, again, right? Can you say hypocrisy? Right? Because they're the first ones to be like, Pastor Pork chopping them, they in bed with the government. That's why they can't speak about the atrocities of the black man, because they get their tax write-offs. But look at you, buddy. Look at you.
Hey, I don't know who they listening to. Like some Christians think all I ever talk about is the atrocities of black men.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Got IOIC looking like ISIS over here. You know what I mean? It's like, it's come on. You're Islamic, fam?
True story.
Dinu says apparently they're vocab's brother because some think that vocab's an undercover Muslim. That's facts.
That's true story.
That's true story. but vocab is everything. He's an undercover Mossad agent who works for the Vatican and who's in bed with Islam. So he's getting checks left and right. It's amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. So I'm going to end it there. I think that's a good way to end it with a bang. Yeah. So before we wrap up, we always like to know what our panelists have in store in the immediate future. And we will start with Apologists in Detroit.
Sunday night, we got the UA on Clubhouse. So that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be we have that series that we have going on, Christianity Explained. I'm going to be dropping. They still haven't dropped those 2 sermons that I preached a couple weeks ago. They're like sermonettes I preached at this church in Detroit. So when they drop, I'll be sharing those. I did this interview yesterday on campus with another missionary about the gospel of America. So that was about an hour-long interview. I'm gonna be doing a tiny bit of editing and dropping that on my YouTube channel and premiering it pretty soon. Although you can watch it at your leisure because it's an hour long. And then I'm preaching at my own church, not this Sunday, but next Sunday on Daniel 6. So that'll be recorded. So I'll drop that after that. I'll clip that and put that on my YouTube channel also. So my YouTube channel goes from being dormant to getting like a whole lot of videos posted all at once in the next couple of months. I'm officially out in the field, mission field now, which was great this whole week. Man, I had some very engaging conversations with some young adults, and so that's been super encouraging and awesome. And goodness, I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something, but yeah, that's what I have in the immediate future. Those messages that I'm gonna be sharing.
Cool. Looking forward to that. CMB, what can we be expecting from you, sir?
I'll be popping up in and out in the bodega. Just church stuff. Yeah, man. We got a lot going on. Y'all pray for me, man. I got 2 preteens who don't like to do homework, so that's what we're doing at the house. It's just pray for them because we keep doing this. I'm gonna have to sell them on eBay or something. I don't know, but we're gonna figure that out. But yeah, just daddy duty and just kind of taking care of business and home church, popping up in the bodega, choosing violence from time to time with my brothers. So we'll be here and actually just a quick shameless plug. My shout out to my cousin Nadine. She invited me onto her church's Zoom meeting, and she's in Canada now, and her church that she still kind of helps to facilitate Friday night Bible studies with is in Jamaica. So I was there doing some international stuff on Zoom tonight, which is nice. It was a good time to have by all that there. So it was a good time. We talked about relationships and stuff there from a biblical standpoint, and that was very, very nice. So look out for that. I think Apologist in Detroit and SOC myself, we're supposed to be talking about sex and marriage and relationships soon. I don't know when. We haven't discussed the final date for that, but I think that'll be a closed discussion, I think, right? Apologist. But yeah, that'll be available some point in time in the near future. And also preaching and teaching through the book of John. So on the Holy Spirit, chapter 16 and going forward. So just pray for that. And yeah, that's about it.
CMB, when you're talking to your brethren, does the accent come out?
You know what? Tonight I was very much a Yankee. It was
wow.
It was different.
Okay. Cool,
but every now and again it'll pop up. So yeah. I can't control it. So.
MJ, what violence can we be expecting from you, sir?
None this weekend. I did have some plans this weekend, but Much like CMB, I have to drive to Texas to take care of some preteen issues.
Man.
And there will be some literal V word.
The V word.
Might be some literal V word, but better me than the police. As Kane said on Menace to Society.
Man, one day we gotta do a bodega on all the ghetto films.
Oh yeah,
take a page out of real reviews and do all the hood films one day.
Menace to Society.
All that.
Don't show, don't care about what's going on in the hood.
CMB, we got.
Billy, when they was coming from my Jamaican man, he was
wrong with me.
He didn't go out like the fuck, man.
Yes, sir.
We're so
ghetto. Not go out.
Oh man, dudes get shot every day. B, have some soup. You be all right.
Giving a thermometer.
Oh man.
Man. So Michelle. All right, so Michelle, if we do it though, you got to be on. You got to be on though. All right, if we do it, you got to be on the panel, okay?
Big facts.
Because she be beefing on me behind the scenes. Oh, you didn't invite me, but then when I invite her, oh, I can't do it because I got to do it. I'm like, then why bother me then? Like, she loves busting my chops. Loves it. So anyway, I will have things that I'm working on, and once they're done, I will post them. Oh, good, she's down. That's what's up.
All right,
that's what's up.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. So,
get it.
All right. So with that being said, apologies, Detroit. Can you do the whining thing one more time?
That's right. Oh, I'm gonna go a little further for Val because she keep asking me to sing. I can hardly wait for Jesus to return. For his return, my heart does yearn. I was asked this question, and the answer is soon. There you go, Val.
You gotta do let my people go.
Right.
Good stuff. So with that being said, Apollos in Detroit, CMB, MJ, and BK signing off. Hey.